everyone. This is Jen Mark with Buzzcast podcast for the Ontario Athletic Therapists Association. I am so excited to have Luc Moore here with us today. And Luc has been involved in the healthcare field since he was 16 years old. This is actually a really great story. He started his first business at the age of 18, selling exercise equipment and developing training programs while working at the Almonte Fitness Center. His combination of excitement and curiosity about the body works alongside his athletic training, brought him to study at the University of Ottawa, where he obtained a BSc honors in human kinetics. In 2008, he cycled across Canada in 57 days, raising funds for a children's foundation. Upon returning, he started his second business of providing kinesiology services to his local area. 9 months later, he was involved in a near-fatal motorcycle accident. He sustained numerous life-threatening injuries, including an unstable open-book pelvic fracture, which required intensive surgeries to repair. With the help of his family and friends, he closed his business and started rehabilitation on his new full-time job, Nearly 1 year later to the day, he was involved in a car accident that totaled his VW Golf, and rehabilitation continued. The next 8 years were spent rehabbing from these two accidents. As a result, Luc has created the Health Locator to address these concerns. Luc presently lives in Ottawa Valley and spends his spare time with friends, family, windsurfing, cycling, and traveling. Welcome, Luc.
Hi, Jen. Thanks a lot for having me.
Luc, tell me a little bit about, if you want to expand a little bit on that. Obviously, it's a really great story. Well, not a great story. Cycling across Canada in 57 days was a great part. And then obviously your experiences with rehab.
No, thank you. I was always fascinated with rehab, and that's the main reason I entered into the degree that I did. I went and studied kinesiology because I just loved the body and was so fascinated in what it did and how to help. So when my accident came around, it was definitely a very big shock to a lot of us. It was near fatal, so life kind of stops. And at that point, you have to really kind of look at everything. You have a chance to slow down. And throughout the rehab process, I did get to try numerous amounts of different kinds of therapies, which for me, I was able to go into that creative side of me that had gone to school. And I was able to use that kind of side to really get excited for those different therapies. But the one thing that we found, because the majority of the time when I was still bedridden, I was not able to walk, it was my mom doing that research for therapies. And that's what we found was quite difficult. She had to call numerous clinics and had to do a lot of searching online, and which brought about the idea of Health Locator.
And so tell me a little bit about Health Locator specifically.
Absolutely. So it started as an idea, and then we started doing research. So as I was rehabbing, I would talk to therapists, I would talk to members of the public, I would talk to friends, I would also talk to fellow athletes, and I would say, hey, how has your experience been looking for care? Has it been easy? Has it been difficult? Are you able to look up and find specific services easily? Are you able to look up specific injuries and see who treats those? And for the most part, everybody said no. They said, we have a very difficult time finding care. We're not quite sure who deals with specific services, and our family doctors are also having a hard time. So that's kind of where we started mulling together the idea of Health Locator, and then bringing in the specific partners and key members of our team now that we have that have helped it grow to what it is today. So it's been quite the process of discovery in itself.
Yeah, which is the best way, right?
I think so. And it also ensures that your idea is valid and that it can help a lot of people. And so that's why we were so excited about partnering up with associations. And then we're proud of them for taking this active step in bridging that gap between private and public care, which for us is a huge goal at Health Locator, is to be able to have a network that we can present to the public healthcare system, where discharge coordinators, lawyers, friends and family of the public can find care exactly how they need it, exactly where they need it.
Right, which is fantastic. And access to healthcare and access to quality services. Now, how can ATs benefit from this platform?
ATs can benefit in a bunch of different ways. First off, they're taking an active role in helping improve access to healthcare, which is huge. And we're, like I said, we're really proud of the associations for doing that. The more and their profiles will rank on Google. So this is the first time that there are healthcare profiles specifically designed for healthcare professionals. So that will rank on Google. That will help increase their visibility. So the more they complete their profiles, obviously, the better they rank. And for the most part, depending on how popular the keywords are, our profiles are landing in around the first page, near LinkedIn, near Facebook. It all depends on the popularity of the keywords, of course. And then there's a couple different plans that they can choose from, and then that'll gauge their level of engagement with the platform. Everything to help market their business and get themselves out there, working in conjunction with the association.
So tell me a little bit about how our athletic therapist membership connect with the consumer, what the association is opting out, is putting us in, we can opt out or stay in. How do we connect to the consumer?
Well, the first step is finishing and creating your profile. Health Locator is going to create an account for you. At that point, you'll receive an email. Then you'll be able to log on to the system. You'll be able to select your plan and then go ahead and edit and create your profiles. The connection with the public happens right on Google. It also happens directly on our platform. Our profiles rank on search engines, which is huge. And most of the time, depending on how popular keywords are, these profiles are ranking near the Facebook, near LinkedIn. So that connection with the consumer happens right there. It also happens on our platform. So as consumers and as family doctors, as healthcare providers, as lawyers and discharge coordinators log on to our platform, they'll see right there what services are available, where they're being offered, and who's offering them.
Right. And then a little bit of, I'm assuming, information and how to connect with that therapist.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's on our basic plan, you have a request an appointment button that's built into our profiles. There was actually a lot of thought and feedback, and there's a lot of people along the road that have really helped to create the profiles to what they are now. We've been talking to the Ontario Kinesiology Stuart Moulton there for several years now, and he really did help shape our profiles. He helped play an active role in that. We had developers that had come on to our team and that had really thought about it, brought it home. So it was really a community endeavor to create the profiles to what they were. They are very comprehensive. So they include all your education. They include what services you offer, the injuries that you treat. They include the location. There's also a button on there that takes you back to the regulator. So view license. So that allows the public right away to verify information, which will then improve quality assurance, public protection and transparency for that public, which also shows, and it helps separate these healthcare professionals from, let's say, people who are not healthcare professionals. So on that instance, we were pretty excited about that as well. So with all that information on there, it helps the consumer, and that in itself. So that in itself will help the ATs hugely.
Yeah, because you're creating the way that someone can find us. Yes. And how do lawyers and doctors and how do they know about Health Locator? So
the more associations, we're on our early infancy right now. So we have 3 associations on board. So the more associations that join on, we will be able to start making those connections with all the people that were within our network through when you go through 8 years of injury and 8 years of rehab, you get to know quite a few people in the healthcare space, in the law space, and especially with our story, there aren't very many success stories with the kind of accidents that we went through. So you do get to know quite a few people, and in there, they're more than happy to help out, because this is, at the end of the day, it's a good story for everybody. Athletic therapists are joining, and it is a win-win situation for both the healthcare, both the consumer. We're kind of just trying to bring everybody together in that sense. So we will be attending different conferences along with working with our Stephen Lau online, he is a web expert. He could have had a job at Google or Facebook, and he decided to stay local and help small businesses. So we will be working hand in hand with him. So that's how those connections will be made over time. The more engaged the members are, the more articles they send. There'll be a bunch of co-marketing opportunities that we will be working with the association and the members. So there'll be a bunch of different opportunities to take part and help educate. And then in doing so, you're co-marketing for your own business.
And so that's how Health Locator is promoting athletic therapy in a way within the platform, is by the education piece.
Yeah, so we'll be promoting by the education piece. We'll also be promoting on Google itself, and then we'll be promoting via different conferences when we can return to conferences. We'll be doing that as well, and then through our networks of family healthcare teams, and that kind of thing as well. So there'll be a bunch of different avenues that we will be marketing, and we currently are marketing Health Locator, which is only going to grow as time goes on.
And in this, so we'll have our physiotherapy, chiropractor, athletic therapy. There's a tile part of that to talk about what athletic therapy is.
Yes, absolutely. There'll be numerous places on the homepage and throughout the website where the association can take part in co-marketing initiatives to help educate the public. Same with clinic owners, for example. They could also take part in advertising in that way and marketing for themselves. So there'll be those. There'll be through our news and articles section where will be mainly our marketing and kind of education piece, but they can also take part there. All of these things, which are nice, like if you go on LinkedIn or go on Facebook and you're doing that for your business, for the most part, the goal of Facebook is to keep you on Facebook. So the information that you're putting out there is not necessarily going out to land on a search engine page. But these things that we're doing, like our goal is not to keep you on Health Locator for 4 or 5 hours a day. It's to help you get to your end goal. It's to help you connect with your consumer, and it's to help the consumer connect with you. Our goal is to have you on there quickly to find the care that you need quickly. So it's a little bit of a different mindset, but it still requires some engagement from both parties.
That's great. And so are you, when is the big, you've been going for a little while, when does it launch?
So we did research for 2 or 3 years, like when you're in the healthcare space for 8, you kind of mull things over and you do think. So we soft launch when we signed with the Ontario Kinesiology Association. So we're slowly onboarding their members and working with them. And then, so we launched recently. And then from here, we have, we're very excited to see the platform grow. Yeah,
very cool. You must be excited to see sort of thought to action now and having associations sign on.
Absolutely, it's been a very exciting and long road to get to this point. We have talked to a lot of even people at Ottawa City Health, a bunch of different people that we talked to gather information to make sure that we were doing our research. So we are super excited to see it at this stage. Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. And how have your injuries? You're obviously back windsurfing and things like that. So you must be
I am back. Actually, I'd like to give a little bit of a shout out to an athletic therapist that I worked with in Ottawa, Jay Ankersmith, and he's worked with numerous members of my family and friends, and it was unbelievable. It was my first connection with athletic therapy, and in that sense, yes, I'm 100% back. I did have to commit as a full-time job with the help of my mom and brother and family as well. It was a tough path, but we're all very happy that I'm all back and everybody is all back as well.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's awesome. That's great. I'm glad.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing this information with us. We'll have the information out shortly and start to get our membership onboarded and start to get the connections really going. What a great opportunity for the public.
No, thank you. And that's why I liked because I've done athletic therapy and a bunch of different therapies, I really like the athletic therapy compared to physiotherapy, for example. For me, there was a huge difference there. So I'm really excited to help out in any way that we can, and then to help connect those athletic therapists to consumers so they can start enjoying the benefits of athletic therapy as well, even more so than they already do.
Of course. Of course, of course.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time over the weekend here. This is Jen Mark for Buzzcast podcast for the Ontario Athletic Therapist Association. Have a great day, everyone.